What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the throtl YouTube channel. My name is Quinn, and today we're going to be working on our Skyline. So this car took a little bit of a hiatus, but now we're back. We got a lot of fun stuff. We got a lot of work to do on this thing. So to start, we have our refreshed RB20 DET. This is a single turbo DET, which is really nice. We did a full refresh on it, so new gaskets, new seals. We upgraded the head studs and did a few other performance upgrades, such as an N1 Performance oil pump with billet gears inside, some good Greddy stuff on it. So we also have our forward-facing intake manifold. We actually scored a 76mm throttle body instead of the 90mm that comes with the kit. So that's gonna help the drivability a lot with this car. Our exhaust manifold came in. This is a Artec exhaust manifold, V-banded everything, really nice. We have a G25 550 turbo. Because we have a stock piston and rod in this RB, we don't wanna push too much power through it and risk damaging it. So this turbo and manifold setup is gonna give us a really good response, a really good spool time, and make it a very enjoyable car to drive. We're gonna be running full Motul fluids in this car. So if you guys didn't know, Motul actually worked with Nissan, have been working with Nissan for quite some time to create their own Nismo racing line, and actually started with the Skylines. We're actually gonna be getting a full package of Nismo Motul fluid, as well as some standard Motul racing brake fluid and some of the other good Motul stuff we love. So we have Dishworks some stuff here. We're gonna be running a full Dishworks fuel system, injectors. We're gonna run the pressure regulator lines, all that good stuff, and the fuel pumps. We have some cool stuff from GK Tech. It's gonna clean up the engine bay really nicely. We have a Greddy FP2 Black Edition blow-off valve. We're gonna be running a full Mishimoto cooling system on this. We have our downpipe here, which we're gonna have to modify to fit the V-band on. We're gonna be running a full link engine management system, which is really cool. Our wiring harness has not come in yet. We do have a flex fuel sensor down there, which is gonna be really cool. We have our intercooler piping set up here. We gotta get cracking on that as soon as the engine goes back in. And then of course, we have our heat exchangers by Mishimoto. So we got a lot of stuff to do. We're gonna put the engine in the Skyline and start tinkering with a lot of this stuff, getting everything set up. Let's get started. So now it's time to put the RB in. So first of all, we're gonna be taking the intake manifold off, and we're leaving the exhaust manifold off. This is gonna make the engine a lot smaller, and so we're not like pinballing it into the engine bay, because everything is nice and clean, and the engine bay is also nice and clean.
Beautiful.
So we're gonna pull this off. We're gonna put covers over the valve covers so the engine crane doesn't scratch it. The valve covers at least, and so we don't have any damage with that. And then we're gonna pull it off of the engine stand. We're gonna throw our new action clutch in, which is gonna be really cool. And the transmission's gonna go in, and then the whole mamma jam is gonna go right into the car. All right, it's time to get our clutch installed. So we have an action clutch and flywheel combo here. This is gonna be a really nice clutch to have in the car. This is a stage 5, it's a sprung 6-puck. So it's gonna be a lot more aggressive than stock, but it's not going to be completely undrivable. It's gonna be a really nice balance. This clutch is probably a little bit higher application than we need it to be for the power we're gonna be putting through this RB. So I have no issues with this clutch. It's gonna be absolutely perfect. It's gonna do the job just fine, even though it is a little bit overkill. If you guys are looking for a clutch for your car, head over to throtlVIP.com. We have a full line of action clutches in stock currently. Let's get this thing installed, starting with our chromoly flywheel, and then we'll get our transmission on.
What happened? Quinn, what happened?
So while Quinn is here working with the clutch, I'm like, yo, Quinn, you forgot the trans plate.
Oh, you shut up.
You forgot to put this on, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so dumb, Ricky, I forgot.
Okay.
And then
I will give it is both our fault, but Ricky spent like an hour and a half cleaning and painting this thing today.
Good.
And he still forgot about it. So
I thought you were complimenting me, and then you just threw me under the bus, bro. I'm done with it.
I did forget it as well, so we gotta pull the flywheel back
He's
off.
taller, so it's his fault.
What? We have our new throttle bearing installed. We have the clutch fork re-greased. We got Strongman Ricky here holding the transmission. We're gonna get this thing mounted up and bolted down. Let's go, baby.
Front bumper's coming off, front intercooler's coming off.
So I'm installing a GK Tech spring kit for the shifter. So the side to side, what actually brings the shifter back is this guy, which is a little spring. There's one on each side, and that centers the shifter. So this GK Tech makes a dynamic kit. This actually fits quite a few cars that upgrades the spring in it, so you have a better feel. And it came with a bunch of springs, so I'm just kind of deciding which one we should use. So this spring is stiffer than the stock spring by a good bit. This one is stiffer by a lot, and then we have ones that are not as stiff, so we can kind of choose the shift feel that we want. What do you think, Ricky? And here's like the mega stiff.
I think mega stiff.
No,
Yeah.
I would say medium.
No, medium. That's what I was. This one looks good to me.
Yeah.
And also
Because even medium is still harder than stock.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the medium springs in, then we'll put the transmission in. We do have a full GK Tech short shift kit and solid shifter bushing that are going in here, but we can manage that stuff when the engine is in the car.
So right now we are taking the transmission mount off. So, you know
Yeah,
what?
I can't see you in the frame, Ricky. Can you?
We are taking this off or loosen it up very, very loose. So when the transmission goes in and the engine's over there, we can bolt this up and it can hold the transmission in place and it'll make it a lot easier. So I'm gonna be under the car when the car's down and he's doing this part right here.
I can do this.
We're gonna tilt her. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna go. And it's gonna go down, and then it's gonna go whoop. Look at that. Beautiful RB install. Didn't damage anything. Didn't damage the firewalls. Perfect.
Sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah.
Alright.
If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Throtl YouTube channel and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a thing.
All right, one of the things I'm really excited about for this R32 are these headlight, I guess they're like block off plastics from the factory, but these are actually like a thick rubber. These are from Fitment Automotive over in Australia. If you find a set of these from Nissan, you're gonna pay well over $200. And so what these do is they keep dirt and debris from getting into your engine bay from behind the headlights. and basically seals this off like this. Not only are these brand new, they're not $250 or $300. They're more like, I think, 75 bucks. I'm really proud to have gotten these from them, and I'm really excited to put them on. So I'm gonna toss them in now.
So what we have here is a GK Tech short shift kit. You guys saw me swap out the detent springs and the transmission for centering. So this is our actual short shift kit, and there are quite a few cool pieces about this that are upgraded over the factory. So I've taken the snap ring out. So this is plastic, and this is also plastic, and over time this is a 30-year-old shifter, so these get a little bit of slop in them, they get a little bit of play in it. With the GK Tech stuff, this is all aluminum, and I believe this is either aluminum, coated aluminum or brass or some other material. Anyway, it's not going to degrade, it's not going to wear out like a plastic piece would, so it's going to have a nice, firm, crisp shift to it. You can see the height difference. So this one, the GK Tech one, is actually taller from the pivot point to the top, and that's what gives your throw a shorter throw. So this is a short throw shifter along with an upgraded shifter. So we're gonna get all of the old stuff out, which I already have most of it out, and then we're gonna be replacing all of the internal shifter stuff, and then we'll put all our GK Tech stuff on. Of course, we have a new boot to go on as well, because this one is absolutely freaking smoked, and that's not good. So we're gonna get all this stuff on. If you guys are looking to get your hands on some GK Tech product, check the link down in the description below. Get yourself a beautiful shifter. GK Tech makes a lot of really cool stuff for these chassis. Let's get these in. I'm excited to feel the shifter. So yesterday we got the RB20 in mounted, and we actually have the shifter installed now, which is really good too. So now I'm gonna start putting the turbo stuff on. So we have our Artec cast turbo manifold, and start putting our G25 on. And I'm gonna have Ricky start working on the intake manifold, so we can have both our manifolds on and dressed. It'll look really nice and get us all hyped up and motivated for this car again. So let's get started. Damn, boy, look at that. So our exhaust manifold, Artec exhaust manifold, is on, bolted down nice and tight, and now we're gonna put the turbo on. So this is the first part of the turbo that's gonna go on. This is the turbine housing. So everything's V-banded, which is really nice. So we're gonna put this V-band on, and then we'll slide the turbo supercore on and V-band it and clock it, and it'll be fun. It'll look good. So we got our V-band already set up. We're going to drop this guy on.
All right, so while Quinn's working on the engine bay, I'm gonna be moving on to the intake manifold from ISR. We have a few throttle bodies, but we're gonna end up using the 76mm throttle body because it's better for the street. We also have a bunch of fittings and adapters, hoses and hose clamps that I'm gonna be installing. And yeah, just stand by and you see the results in just a bit. All right, so as we look at this manifold, we see that we have four coolant pass-through. So we are going to be installing these big old adapters here. We also have our vacuum line area. This is where you'll be hooking up your boost line. The big one is for the brake booster to make sure you have brakes and whatever else in between. Let me put them in order. Different sizes, and you get to put what you need. The brake booster is usually the biggest one, and then you go whether you need it for your boost controller or your blowout valve or whatever, fuel pressure regulator, everything which is attached to that. This is our idler control valve block off plates. Oh, this is the throttle body mount plate, so for the throttle body cable. Then once we get this thing done, we'll put this thing back on the engine, and then we'll start running the actual coolant line. Alright, so I ended up taking one of our vacuum caps or vacuum adapters off. This is so small that we're not even going to use it. So we ended up replacing it with our air temp sensor. Now, we don't have to drill a hole for it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay.
What are we doing?
We're going to mock this thing up on the engine. Because I need to run some coolant lines to make sure that I know what I'm doing.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes. All right, so right now I'm gonna get Quinn so he can give him a quick hand. We have this ISR intake manifold that we are gonna be mocking in here temporarily.
Where are your bolts?
Bam. All right, so as you can see, I put some fittings on there. And on those fittings, there's gonna be some hoses. And I wanna make sure I have the hoses put on right.
You need to come back this way.
Back that way.
What do you think about that, Will?
That is one ugly motor.
Whoa, what?
Damn!
Just how it is, huh?
All right, from here, you see these fittings here? I'm gonna be putting some hoses in each one of these things, and it's gonna come to this huge adapter. Check this out. You put all four of them together, like this. And you see how they all should be facing this way, like this? And then just think about this. Underneath, right? You looking? And then look, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dang.
You see, so that's how it's gonna be routed underneath the intake manifold, and it's gonna have this adapter that goes to like one hose, and then that goes to the radiator.
I didn't know you were smart like that.
Yeah, that's super. He's learning. He's learning.
We got one.
Got one?
Oh, this is we gotta clean that. Bam! Look at that, dude. This is clean.
That's way cleaner than Ricky's spec.
This is clean. Shit, bro. Legit. Look at that. Good job, ISR. This looks really, really good. Nice. Now let's put the fuel rail on.
The camera would like to know what Ricky's doing.
All right, so you guys didn't see me put this on, which is the thing that I was waiting for down here. So this 4 splitter, obviously, like I said earlier, you got all 4 runners coming out of coolant, and then it goes into the splitter, and this is the upper hose for the radiator that's gonna be here in the near future. Now, this thing came with 4 inlets, and then it's got 2 more open holes, one at the bottom and one up here. We are blocking the one at the bottom because we don't need it, and here we are gonna put water temp sensor. So that's gonna be here, and then from here it's gonna go to the radiator, and everything here needs to be clamped. You gotta put a clamping all 8 of them, but we're not doing that just yet because all this is coming right back out.
So now that we got the turbo on, we're gonna clock it. So on this turbo, if you look at the center section here, so this is called the carrier. So this is where the bearing is that holds the compressor and the turbine all together. So what you have to do is you have to orient this in an ideal position. So right here, this is a coolant line. And this right here, this little 3-hole thing is actually our oil drain. Now, obviously, oil drains need to go down, not up and to the left like that because it's a gravity fed. So that is clocked incorrectly. So we need to rotate the center carrier so that this is going down, which we can do like that. So I've loosened this up, I've loosened the compressor housing up, and then we're gonna spin that. Something like that. So now our turbo drain is going down, our turbo oil feed is up top here with the restrictor in it, and then we have our coolant lines on the side. So we can tighten this down now.
You just taught me something, Quinn.
Yeah, you didn't know that? This is another way we can clock it. So we clock the carrier, so now we can clock this. So this is pretty much, we just put this wherever we want. So like if you go there, you're going into a shock tower and that doesn't work. If you go there, you're going into your manifold, doesn't work. So our like range of where we can put this is gonna be like somewhere here. So we're gonna put it like there for now, tighten it down, and then we can always move this later on when we start fabricating our intercooler stuff.